Hi, Japan. Hi, South Africa. Hi, New Zealand. Hi, America. And hi to the United Arab Emirates. My name is Reilly, and I'm an international delegate for the anime universe. With me, we have my fellow delegate and commentator, Bjorvio.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode. And we are so thankful that you decided to lend us your ears for another exciting week.
I like ears because mine are always too big, so when I get lent them, I feel like I have an abundance of ears at my disposal. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, it kind of does. I also like ears, but only because it enhances my quirk the more ears that I have.
Yes. I heard that. I heard that. That's awesome. Well, let's
Huh,
get into
I heard that. Huh? Huh?
I did that by mistake. Let's get into our three improv questions, and these for the newbies. These questions are random. We come up with them on the spot, and they are brilliant as always. I'll start us off, and my first question to you, Biorvio. Let's say one day you wake up in the morning and you're an ant. Okay, you're in your same bed though, and you're an ant. You're 8 years old, and your mother walks in the room and says, "What's up, ant?" And you say, "Not much. What's up with you?" Then you head out to the store, and as an ant, you have to overcome three obstacles going to the store. What are those obstacles, and how do you overcome them?
The first is the wind because it's a very blustery day and I don't want to get blown away. Thankfully, I got the little like ant tendril things to kind of like hold on, so that one's good. The second one is that there is a large piece of moldy cheese in the way, and I, as a ant, do not eat the moldy cheese variety. I only eat the freshest of cheese or a cow itself. And then the final obstacle is a cow itself is in the way. But thankfully, thick thunder flies over and scares the cow. And so catastrophe avoided.
That's amazing. That's actually that answers what I've got written down here. So well done. What is your question for me?
So, as you may or may not be aware, episode 37 of the Anime Dudes podcast is the episode where Thick Thunder is first mentioned, where we talk about our favorite anime duos of all time. My question to you is, why is Inosuke Hashibira and Nezuko not the best anime duo of all time?
They're not the best because they're incompatible. Nezuko and Inosuke, what name do you say first? Do you say Nezuko first? Do you say Inosuke first? Do you say their combination name would be Nezosuke? And that just doesn't make sense. It's not as cool as something like Tanjikuro or or Iriko Tanji. So, because of the incompatibility and the fact that the names just don't combine as well as Ryolvio or yeah, it's Fig Thunderio. It just doesn't make sense at all. My second question to you would be, if you were a music note, okay, what tone would it be? What tone would you be as a music note? Give me. You need to hum it or sing it. Give me the tone.
So I would probably go. I always liked like an upper C, like a. I think that's a
Hmm.
C. Maybe that is. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm
Do
not
you
a
have
very well trained singer. I was more of an instrumentalist.
Do you have a perfect pitch?
Heck no.
Oh, I was gonna say that sounds
Absolutely not.
good. Okay. What's your second
Um,
question for me?
all right. So if you were hired to draw a picture for a very famous meeting of or convention of bankers, and there were going to be about 20,000 bankers in attendance, what would you draw them and why?
I would. I wouldn't draw them anything. I'd sculpt them something. So what I'd sculpt them out of a giant piece of jade. And jade is what we get here in New Zealand. It's a beautiful green stone. Um, and I'd sculpt the Wall Street Bull out of the greenstone. And because I'm not such a great sculptor, it'll turn into more of a uh, tortoise, and it won't look as cool, but they'll get the gist of it, and that's the point. To motivate these accountants, they need to see a bull or a tortoise, and that's just common knowledge.
Well, that's a very common thing in the saying in the accounting and banking world is if you're not a bull, you're a tortoise.
That is a common saying. I've heard it said twice just now. My final question to you: let's say 1 plus 1 is 3. How does that affect the world? How does that change things?
Well, the oddly enough, the only thing that would be somewhat consistent is that pi would equal 3.14. However, it would stop at 3.14. Pi would not be infinite, which means that you would never be able to bowl a perfect game of bowling ever again. You would never have Final Fantasy VII created because it relied heavily on the pi formula in order to create the animations for Sephiroth. And probably most important of all, Thursday would no longer exist.
That changes the world. My goodness. What's your final question for me?
So we live in a world in this improv scene where the force is real and people, one of the main professions is hero. And so you're trying to lightsabers aren't a thing, it's just the force. So people are out there, they're trying to save people, and then there's villains that have different dark side abilities and everything. And you find yourself forceless. What is the name of the hero that you go after to try and see if you can become the number one force user, even though you don't have the force?
Darth Might. And yes, that is a mixture of Darth Vader and All Might. And yes, that would be the coolest superhero villain combination out there. But just imagine it's their hair. Imagine Darth Vader's face with All Might's hair. The combination would blow your mind. And I wouldn't succeed because of how incredible their hair would look. But I would try my very utmost. And how would they sound, Bjorvio? How would that combination sound?
I am your father. Yes, it's true. I am. That's what he would say instead of I am here. He just goes around to everyone. I am your father. He just adopts everyone. It's really great.
Yeah, I like that. All right, well, today we are talking about a matchup that everyone's talking about nowadays. People are talking about it, people are pumped about it. I've seen it all over the social medias like FaceFace and Instabook and
Tiki Talk.
TikTok. Yes, I've seen it all over those. It is your from Spy Family versus
Inosuke Hashibira.
yeah, and there's gonna be some hate mail. There's gonna be some people that might get annoyed at us based on the conversation and the outcome of the conversation. Potentially, we don't know. We don't know. But all I know is this matchup is something that I'd pay $3,221 for, because that's all I have in my bank account, and I would make sure to be in the front seat of it. What are your initial thoughts, Bjorvio?
Well, when I first thought of this idea randomly right before bed, I was like, well, first off, why is this even coming into my head? Like, I always make these weird matchups that always end up getting like really like blown over quickly because it's like this one's easily one-sided. But then the more I thought about this one, I was like, oh, this is a better matchup than I had thought. And I've kind of have gone back and forth as to who wins it. I'm not even sure I still have an answer, but I guarantee you that if there was celebrity anime fight night, and this was the big event of the night, I would be the referee just so I could get up close and personal to the action and so I would have a guaranteed spot. I don't know a thing about refereeing. I would be the worst referee. That doesn't matter. I would just, take over their job, do a very bad job at it, but I'd get to see the fight, and really, that's all that matters.
That is, and I just Google searched that particular combination of Yor and Inosuke, and about 20 to 30 combinations come up. So I wasn't lying, saying it's on the tip of everyone's tongue. Now, Yor, if you haven't watched Spy Family, she is an assassin who is extremely talented at what she does. She seems to have a superhuman speed and strength, but I think it's superhuman because she's been trained from a child to be the best assassin she could be.
Mm-hmm.
So she's human, but she's been trained very skillfully from a child. Inosuke was brought up in the wild, in the bush. He's rough, he's tough, he is determined, he is muscular. Yes, he's fast, he's strong, but he doesn't have the same training as Yor. So I think Yor takes that initial, in regards to training and skill, Yor takes it. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I completely agree. Yor definitely takes it because, like you said, she's been raised for so long, and this is how she does. I mean, you don't get to be the number one assassin in the world by just winging it. She has been trained, and she's good at what she does. So, and Inosuke did create his own breathing style, where I'm not saying he's not trained, but he's not even old enough, I don't think, compared to the number of years that Yor's been training. So I think that's a pretty clear-cut argument, if I do say so myself.
Now, everything's really lining up Yor, but where do you think Inosuke has the advantage?
Endurance. And I'll tell you why. We've seen Yor get shot in the butt, and she basically pretends like nothing happens throughout an entire day, but she still is feeling it. Inosuke's been impaled and said, nah, and just basically keeps on going. Like, literally, Homeboy has rearranged his entire organs and said, I can still keep going. You know what I mean? Like, he just doesn't stop. Inosuke can get hit by a tank and be fine. Yor doesn't have that same level of endurance that Inosuke does. I'm not saying she can't take a hit. We just don't see her take nearly the kind of beating that Inosuke takes. And I don't think she's quite as capable of doing that. That being said, they are basically both confirmed to be immune to poison, oddly enough. But in terms of like overall endurance, I think Inosuke has a massive edge in that department. What do you think?
That's a really interesting point, and you're completely right. His mere determination would push him through any injury that he might have. He is an incredible fighter, and he never gives up. And he will, if he's got one arm, one finger working, he'll use that finger to try take her down. The outcome, I think, falls in Yor's favor still. I still think Yor would finish him. It won't be an easy battle at all, but I think Yor would take the shot. Now, Anya versus Inosuke is another story.
I'm just thinking of the dodgeball episode of Spy Family.
I thought of the exact same thing. And that was such excitement and build-up to smash it on the ground. I mean, she wouldn't be fast enough to dodge. If Anya had the training of Yor, obviously with the skill of mind reading. Actually, no, because Inosuke would just think to himself, slice, fight, punch, kick. He won't really have a strategy in mind. So mind reading wouldn't help.
No, I don't think even Bon would have any kind of advantage either. I think him, Anya, they're both going down. I'm not even sure.
Lloyd?
I don't know if even he could take Inosuke.
No.
Quite possibly, but I feel like out of everyone in Spy Family that I've seen so far, oddly enough, Yor has the best chance. I mean, I'm just thinking of the episode where she's playing tennis, and she actually slices a tennis ball like an apple through an apple slicer, and then she's like, "Oh, that's too hard. I better hold back," and hits it over the speed of sound. Like, Inosuke's not. He's not built that. He's strong, but he's not that strong.
True.
I think they might be matched in maybe speed and agility. They'd probably be about the same. But, I mean, she broke a tree with a tennis ball.
Yeah, and she broke a few with the dodgeball. She
Yeah.
is extremely powerful. Yor takes it, and our improv scene for this morning, evening, midnight is I'll be Yor, and you be Inosuke, and we meet for the first time. Would that be a possibility?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Sorry.
Hi there, sir. Have you seen my my daughter around? She has pink hair and she's really cheeky. She's ran off on me again.
Does she have a muzzle in her mouth?
That's her.
Oh, she must be, is she Mangerato's little sister?
I don't know who that is, but hey, weird question. You look quite strong. Do you think I could test a couple of moves on you? I'm just training for my husband. I want to be the best wife possible, and maybe we could give it a go.
Wait, so let me get this straight. You're saying that if you want to be a good wife, you have to be able to beat people up? I could be a fantastic wife then. I would love to. Come on, fight me.
Okay, before we fight, I thought I made these really good, little chocolate ball things, earlier this morning, and I tried to give it to my daughter, and that's why she ran away, but, have a bite, and then we'll get going.
Okay, hang on, let me take off this thing. This boar isn't my actual head. Oh. Holy cow! This is better than anything I ate growing up. What did you use to make this? Spices? I don't know what those are. I never had those before.
I thought you'd be poisoned, but you're right. He's immune to poison at some sort, so he won't. I thought that'll pass him out. But I think that's exactly how it would go. And then Anya would come behind him and knock him out with a bag of peanuts. I think that would be how it would go, to be honest.
Yeah, I could see that. Because I don't think if Inosuke's focused on one person, he's not paying attention to what's behind him. So, and if there's one thing he's never prepared for, it's peanuts.
Oh yeah, I think he's severely allergic. I've heard in the forums. So that's a shame. But yeah, great question. This today, it was really, really enjoyable to talk about it. And Spy Family is amazing, and it's getting better by the second. We need to bring Avatar into this conversation because me and my daughters have started watching it again, and the animation's not the best, but it's so funny and cool. So we need to talk about that at some point.
I would love to talk about Avatar. I mean, like you said, the animation isn't the best, but considering that, we've talked about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, we grew up on the 90s stuff or 80s, and I watched a clip of 1990s Dragon Ball recently, and let me tell you, Avatar's definitely got better animation.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's like more of an American style, but yeah, you're not wrong at all. Could you take us out with Inosuke's voice and say something really funny throughout, like a joke or two jokes to finish things off?
Sure.
I can't believe you losers thought I would lose that fight. What do you mean? I beat that other demon chick. I mean, I don't think this chick's a demon, but whatever, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I hope you had. Thank you all for tuning in to this horrible podcast where they don't like me at all, and they think I smell, which I don't anymore. You know what? Shut up. Of course I smell. Who am I kidding? Anyway, come back next week when we're talking about something totally awesome. Like me, because I'm awesome. I don't know if I'm gonna be there or not yet, but here's the thing, okay? If you want to, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret about next week's episode. Come in real close. No, come in closer. Closer. There you go. Beast breathing. Fourth Fang. Cast edition.